Welcome back to She Will Empower. I'm your host, Jessica Cherry. I'm a strategic intervention and empowerment coach, an NLP practitioner, an empowerment community director, a certified sound bath practitioner, and your Tuesday morning wake up club host on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio, where we bring real talk, real tools, real empowerment, and local and amazing music straight to the airwaves. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Today, I have a special guest, a woman who embodies the essence of Wimberley, Miss Helena Hauk. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. No one's ever said that about me before, so thank you.
Of course. Well, you know, I've known you long enough so I can tell you, you are the essence of Wimberley. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself. But before I do, I want everyone to prepare, because when I say you do embody Wimberley, I'm not exaggerating. You really do embody Wimberley. She wears so many hats, and she has always been the sweetest person to me. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Helena, who are you? And I want to know all the hats you wear.
Okay. Well, good morning. I think first and foremost, I'm a mother of two amazing little people. I get compliments on them all the time. But we moved here to Wimberley to buy Creekhaven Inn Spa, which is my other baby. I also own Wimberley Shuttle and recently accepted a position at Ozona Bank as their Vice President of Commercial Lending and SBA team lead, as well as their internal employee wellness initiative champion. I also am chairman of the Wimberley Valley Chamber of Commerce. So this is my second year to chair the board, my fourth year to serve on the board. I am also chairman of the Hotel Occupancy Tax Advisory Committee and have been since it launched in 2022 when the tax came back into effect. And then I am currently sitting on a task force committee for the city of Wimberley, and that is to review STR zoning and compliance. And I also sit on the board for the Texas Bed and Breakfast Association.
I told you, I lost track of how many hats that is. I think we're at like
current.
six, 7, 10. I don't know.
And I'm, mother, daughter, sister, friend.
Wow.
Hi.
I told you, I was not lying. She is the essence of Wimberley. Let me tell everybody how we met. How are we here today?
Yes.
So I actually contacted you, I want to say a year and a half ago at this point, for a sound bath.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
we connected on like a wellness retreats or something on Facebook.
Man, I was trying to remember last night. It was through Facebook. It was certainly through social media. Mm-hmm. So I contacted you. I had just formally launched my sound bath business, and I wanted to start kind of tiptoeing into Wimberley. I was playing sound baths in Austin, and I was like, you know what, that drive is just not for me with all this equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to open it up to Wimberley, and I came to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I also first I wanted to talk to you about the sound baths, and you were so gracious to me. You were very welcoming to me, and I didn't know you from the next person over.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talking, and I don't know how you got it out of me, but you got it out of me. The ink wasn't even dry. I also became the director for the Ladies Lifestyle Network, and I didn't tell a soul. And you were the first person that I told.
And
I
don't think you've told me that before.
Yes, at that meeting about the sound bath. And when I told you, I remember thinking, okay, I don't know this lady. I just told her something that the ink wasn't even dry on my contract.
Yeah.
You ended up being my first sponsor.
Yeah.
Which has just taken off. And since those two things, of course, we've partnered with multiple things. I have grown to just love you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I have you as well. And I remember you just had such an impression, even on social media at the time. I was like, who is this Lone Star Sound Baths? I need to know this lady. And very much last couple years, I started connecting with people on social media who intrigued me or who we were universally floating around each other. We were just constantly, Rachel Emery was another one.
Yes.
We saw each other a lot. We knew who each other were, but we didn't know each other. And I started reaching out to people. Hey, I want to connect with you. I want to get to know you better. But I have that effect on people where I have almost that counselor kind of, that people will just start talking to me and sharing with me. I'm a safe space.
Yes, people are able to let their guard down with you. You definitely come across friendly, welcoming, and which of course embodies all of Creekhaven and everything you do and all the million hats you wear. So I want to talk first about your wellness journey, because I know you wear a lot of hats, but also you went through your own wellness journey, which I know that you are itching to get off your chest. It's such a beautiful journey, but also very personal.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Okay. Well, this is me hard because I did an hour-long presentation for a wellness retreat last year. It was just my story. About 12 years ago, I was completely cratering. My adrenal system was shutting down. I was a busy executive for a bank based out of Houston, leading an SBA team for Central Texas, and had a newborn at home and a toddler. And I've always been that person that type A, go, 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 push, 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 high D driver, and felt like I never could let anything fall. But anytime I was constantly sick, I was constantly in some type of a headache, and I would still push through it. I would be miserable. And my husband at the time, he would tell me, well, just rest, take the day off. And I would tell him, I'm going to feel the same whether I'm working or not. So I might as well just be pushing through.
Hold on. That's a lot to unpack, Helena.
I know.
So you were constantly sick.
Constantly.
You were a driver. You were in all these things. You were a high stress, high level job. And you did not let yourself take the rest that you need for your body.
No.
So you were an Energizer bunny. You were just go, 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 go. And it ticks at you.
It does. It eats away at you. And you don't know what you don't know until you finally know it, right?
Yes.
And I was very much in that place. I didn't know anything about wellness. I didn't know what I was doing to myself. I love for things to smell nice. I love to smell nice. I love my home to smell nice, my space to smell nice. So I was a Bath and Body Works junkie. When I discovered this finally about 12 years ago, I had just bought a new home. I had gotten all my Christmas sale stocked up, and I was in constant headache. And I finally learned synthetic fragrance is a major trigger for me in my headaches. Yes. And I started learning about essential oils. But there's so many things that just layer onto you and come at you every day, whether it's environmental toxins, people toxins, energy, stress, lack of sleep. I slept terrible. Never mind the newborns. I slept terrible before them,
To your defense,
yes,
12 years ago, everybody was into Bath and Body Works. Just say it.
People still are.
But I mean,
I think they're trying to kind of get into some essential oils, but it's still very
the main
toxic.
Back in the day, right? 12 years ago.
God. I would stock up in every sale.
I would too. The spray bottles, the candles. You wouldn't even be able to walk past the mall, without a detour in there. And they got the little baggies.
Yes. I mean, it's hard. And then there's nutrition. When you're in the business space and you're networking and leading organizations. Back then, I was president of several different organizations, Commercial Real Estate Women in San Antonio, CTAGL, just Central Texas Association of Government Guaranteed Lenders. Everything's a mouthful. But leading these organizations, and I always put on my mask. I'm fine. I'm here. I'm fine. I've got this. I'm fine. Right.
Meanwhile, there's fire behind you.
It's like the house is burning down behind me, and I'm just keep trying to just show up because that's what the world told me I had to do. I persisted until I couldn't anymore. And in 2017, I had 3 surgeries. I had my daughter by C-section. And the reason I had to have my daughter by C-section was because I lost my first child in delivery, trying to deliver her naturally, tore my uterus. And that was 4 years earlier. We didn't know I'd be able to carry another child. I successfully have 2 amazing kids now. All of these things happened to me physically, emotionally, energetically, from a traumatic standpoint that I didn't understand at all at the time. And I was still just pushing forward. I took 2 weeks off to have my daughter, my youngest. 2 weeks off because I went to work for this bank because of FMLA.
Right.
But you get it's a 40% pay cut to take FMLA. And I was the breadwinner.
Oh, my goodness.
So I couldn't take the reduction. When I had my son in 2014, I was president of CTAGL, and we were the host location in San Antonio for our Mid-America 5-State Region Lenders Conference. 400 lenders coming in from 5 states to learn about SBA and what's what.
That's a big event.
I had my son 4 days before the conference, and I was there opening and closing every ceremony. I was at the hotel the entire time.
Let me mentally
I would never advise anybody to do any of this,
I don't
by
either.
the way.
You had a conference with 400 attendees.
Yes.
And 4 days prior, you gave birth?
Yes.
Insane.
And 18 months prior, I had almost died from giving birth to my first.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And this was almost 10 years ago.
This was 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Almost 12.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My son will be 12 in August.
Wow.
Yeah.
You kept going.
I did not know any other way to be. When I lost my daughter, I was hospitalized for a week, 4 days, and sent home. Was given 2 weeks to have my first. I was on a wound vac. I mean, I was in pretty bad shape. My ex-husband now and we renewed our vows when we brought her ashes home. I was 42 weeks with her. So I was very far along. Like, she was almost 10 pounds. She got stuck in my pelvis. That's what happened. My pelvis didn't spread to allow her to pass through naturally because I was trying to deliver her naturally.
Right.
You know, you don't know all the things that any trauma, all the layers of impact that it causes physically, emotionally, energetically, and it takes years to unwind that. Never mind that I was just a standard American living a standard American life. That means I ate like a standard American. I just lived a very toxic life, and that's obviously at some point you're going to come cratering down. 87 days after I lost my daughter, my father lost a 7-year battle to cancer. That his initial prognosis was 90 days. And my dad was a fighter. He had grit. And I think that's where I got a lot of that from. You just got to push through and show up for your family. So fast forward back to 2017, I've had my daughter, my youngest, Hayden, and I developed mastitis.
Oh, my goodness.
And not just any kind of, like, I don't just do, like, I've had several doctors who are like, you just don't do things a little bit. You go all the way. Like, I would always go all the way to an infection, but I wouldn't present as a normal infection. So doctors didn't know what to do with me because I wasn't running a fever. I wasn't giving them the normal signs, so they knew how to treat me. And so they would just constantly scratch their heads and say, I don't know what to do. We could give you this medicine.
Wow. And so that's
not even the end of it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So motherhood has been a really curveball with you with all these things because you kept going.
Yeah.
And then you were also becoming a mother, and
I never got to stop and just be a mother.
Yeah.
And I think about that now. I look at friends that I have here who are stay-at-home moms, and I used to be like that. Again, just push, go. I'll never just be able to be a stay-at-home mom, but I cherish and am so envious is probably not the right word, but a little bit of that. But it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to stay at home and take care of your family.
They don't keep small. They don't stay that way. They grow. They really do grow really fast.
They do, and they need your love and support and guidance. And so I definitely don't look down on that at all. When I had my son, he was in the office with me within 2 weeks. I was self-employed at the time. But my kids have just always been with me. In 2017, after I had that surgery, I was hospitalized for the mastitis because they didn't know what to do. Had to have that surgically cut out. So I was on home wound care for the whole summer for almost 3 months. Like, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I was just so disgusted with myself to be in that place. How could I get here? What is so wrong with me that I have to be in this place? What did I do to deserve this level of pain and have to be physically cut in?
Was that your wellness journey beginning?
Almost. We're almost
there.
Oh,
my goodness.
There was one more surgery. So then in December of that year, we discovered that I had an umbilical hernia. Actually, in October. An umbilical hernia. I met a lady on an airplane. We were still great friends to this day. We talked from boarding to deboarding the whole time. And it was very much a divine intervention to connect with her because she led me
goosebumps.
Yes. Her name's Buffy Ruth Hart. I absolutely love her. She introduced me to the wellness clinic that helped me to start my detox journey in San Antonio. And so that's where we discovered my umbilical hernia. Well, when I lost my daughter, I was trying to deliver her naturally. I tore my uterus and my abdominal wall. 7-centimeter tear in my abdominal wall.
Wow.
So when we went in for the surgery to repair that, that's when they found the abdominal tear. And I told my husband, I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to get in shape. I'm trying to do the right things. And every time I do, I end up sicker. I end up just miserable. I felt like I would have flu-like symptoms. I would be in this constant self-defeating state. And so I'm like, what's the point?
You didn't know.
I didn't know. And I would say, I don't feel like I can connect. And because I was disconnected. I was physically, there was nerve damage. There was so much damage that, again, that physical, but I didn't know that until 4 years later after I had my youngest. I had an umbilical hernia repair surgery for that, and my recovery from that was hard and terrible. So that was 2017, and I realized through this, I've got these two amazing children. I was also in the midst of this having migraines, and I've had migraines since I was 14, but they'd gotten progressively worse where they were weekly, 3 days long. There was a distinct pattern.
3 days long?
And sometimes more than one a week. And so the first day I'm like, I'm getting a headache, and I would do all of these things to try to stop it. None of it would ever work. And then by day 2, 1 o'clock, I would be vomiting and down for the count.
Oh my goodness.
I'd have to be in a dark room, ice packs, no noise. I have a newborn and a toddler, and I can't handle noise.
Wow.
Right. So that was my rock bottom. Like, something has got to change because I have these two little humans and I can't function to support them. And
yeah, you can't,
and I'm missing out.
You can't stand their cry because you're over here with a migraine.
They're happy. They're happy little, cheery sounds. I couldn't handle it. So that's when I went to the clinic that my friend introduced me to. And I said, I don't know anything about wellness. I failed nutrition in college. That was the science course I had to take. I don't understand fat soluble, water soluble. When do I do this and that? And it was too hard. It was too much. And I'm not a sciencey person. I'm a hospitality person. And so she said, I took this course with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and it taught me everything that I need to know. And it's a holistic wellness coaching program. So it was a very big investment. I think it was $3,500 at the time for something that I'm not pursuing as a career or investing in my home. It was a big discussion point for my husband and I. So I decided to do it, and I'm so glad that I did because my eyes just opened up. But holistic wellness is not just about what you put in your body, but the food that you eat. It's the people you surround yourself with. It's the career that you're in. It's the relationships that you have. Do you have a relationship with something bigger than yourself? It doesn't have to be religion, but spiritual. Do you have a hobby? There's so many different things. And that opened me up to so many different speakers and presenters. And so he's just like pulling the thread. I started following Dan Buettner with the Blue Zones. If you haven't heard about that, look it up. It's fascinating. He got National Geographic to fund a research project for him to go around the world and find the hot spots for the highest concentration of 100-year-olds that are living actively.
Yes.
That are actively living. They're not 100-year-olds living in hospice. They're actively living.
Isn't Japan a hot spot?
There are communities.
Yes.
There's a community in California, in Italy, in Japan. He found 5 of them, and he went and studied them and found what are the consistencies between each of those communities that help to have a thriving lifestyle. And so he put, basically, it's a holistic life. And it's just finding all of these different ways to live life more fully, healthy, happy. And what does that mean for you? It's different for everybody. But foundationally, I started to pull some of these things in, started to have these aha moments, started to figure out where my toxicities were, both like physically, environmentally, energetically. And then I just started pulling the thread little bit by little bit. And sleep was my my first place to start. I slept terribly. Ariana Huffington started this whole platform from her aha moment, and she ran herself ragged, ended up passing out at her desk, hit her face on her desk, shattered her cheekbone, had to have reconstructive surgery. And now she has a book and this platform, I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but about the primary necessity of just getting sleep. I would be like, oh no, I would wake up and just crank out, get on the computer and go after sleeping 4 or 5 hours. And I was just trudging through the day. And so it took a long time to start reshaping, just making sleep a priority, all the conditions of the room, of the nighttime routine, all of those things. And that was one of the first things I brought into Creekhaven. I wanted people to be able to rest. How many times do you travel? And the first night that you're somewhere vacation and you're all amped up and you've been ready for this, and you get there and you can't sleep that first night because you're uncomfortable. It's a new place. You're not rested. You don't feel like you can relax. I wanted people to be able to, as soon as they hit the property, as soon as they got into their room, to really be able to start to relax.
And if for those of you who have not been to Creekhaven, it is its own world. There's big trees. There's just an aura or an essence of
majestic
peace.
Yes.
So there's birds, there's deer, and you really do feel like you're not walking distance to the Wimberley Square.
Yeah.
You
Sometimes
really,
I feel like I'm Snow White. I just can't sing like her.
yeah, you really do feel like you're in another location. There's just big trees around this property, all nature. Even there, she has a patio area. That's all plants. I mean, you really do create a loving, peaceful environment that you feel like it's a hug, right? At least when I go there, I feel like I'm getting a hug from nature.
I love it.
I'm pretty sure that's what you wanted. So,
that is exactly what we wanted. Yes.
It feels like that.
Yes.
So that sounds like a horrible wellness rock bottom, but one that was necessary, because if you had not, if you did not go through that, you wouldn't have spent the $3,500 to really learn. I mean, I think anybody that has a wellness journey goes through their personal rock bottom and then, rebuild yourself from that point. So obviously you have such a great wellness journey, and Creekhaven became your baby to manifest this for others, right? And at the same time that you have Creekhaven, you're also a leader in the community.
Well, it took a little bit of time for that to happen. I actually graduated, got my certification in November, and we took over operations December 1st, 2018. So it was definitely part of that journey. And the goal was for me to be able to take that over and replace my banking job. Because again, I felt like I couldn't do both. So this is this like dichotomy that I struggled with, that I can't be a successful executive earning six figures and leading a team and be healthy and be a holistic wellness person. But coming to Creekhaven, I really wanted to start to bring forward the elements, like I said, that I wasn't finding in other places. And I felt called to bring my journey forward and to start to create this space. It wasn't so clear to me then. It took a few years for me to really find clarity around my life purpose and my soul mission, which is to create and hold a safe space where people can really relax and be comfortable in the hospitality space. Also to bring hospitality back to hospitality, because in the era, right?
Love that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, in the COVID era, in this Airbnb era, we moved to this whole touchless, contactless, detached environment. And so when we look at holistic living, human beings, we need social contact.
Oh, totally.
Mammals all need social contact. Look at whales. It's scientifically proven in so many different levels. Again, me not being the science person, I can't call up all the stats, but there's so many out there to support that. We need community. Yes. We need socialization. We need
caveman days. They needed a community, right?
Or else they were
ostracized out and left to die because they were by themselves.
Exactly.
The same thing, even though we have computers and everything, we still crave the human touch.
Exactly.
And the human emotion.
Exactly.
Right?
Our spa. So I added a spa to Creekhaven, and I'd always just had this vision of having a spa. I loved the idea of supporting, pampering, the feeling that you get when you feel truly seen, heard, and taken care of. It's hard to convey in words what that feels like. But when you felt it, you know what that means, right?
Oh, yeah.
And again, from this detachment during COVID, our spa business, reorganizing the inn to the vision that I have for it, and I'm not done yet. Like there's still,
I'm here.
There's still so much to go. Yeah. Who wants to fund me? There's so much more to do, but the spa was a big part in being able to create and hold that space. The demand for human touch, the demand for human connection and interaction. We answer the phone. We don't always answer it right away because we're on the phone with somebody else, but we answer the phone. We return emails. We are there to greet you. We make your breakfast every day from scratch. I replaced a lot of raw ingredients to have a better, healthier, holistic, non-toxic. I'm going to treat my guests the way that I treat my family, which I'm not going to be feeding them toxins, right? We detox the property, so we don't have any synthetic fragrances on the property. When we moved into COVID, required this extra cleaning. We already had HEPA filters in the rooms. We were already doing things as my natural path of wanting to provide a clean, healthy, non-toxic environment. We did extra things. Of course, we added like UV light filters. So we do an extra level of cleaning. And we had the spa to keep going too. So we went through all kinds of craziness. And I'll just tell you, with the inn, every single year I've had one major issue after another to contend with to grow this business. It was less than $500,000 earning business. We peaked over 1.2 a few years ago. So growing it in every single which way. And I always use the word we, but I'm the engine behind it, creating structure, process. It was a very much mom and pop bed and breakfast that we took over. 3 employees. Now I have close to 20. And my goal is to be launching sometime this year as Creekhaven Boutique Resort.
Love that.
Your Texas Hill Country Wellness Retreat Destination and Hill Country Haven Day Spa.
Oh, I love that. Okay. That, of course, in Helena style, you have a lot on your plate. But at this time, you know how to take care of your body, because if your body fails, there's a saying that says if you have 99 problems, you have 99 problems. But if you have a health problem, you have one problem, right?
That's true.
Health is wealth. And I love that you create that space. But now I'm so happy that you know you got to take care of yourself.
I do know.
All these projects that you have, they just won't come to fruition.
Exactly. And basically each year I decided to just pull the thread a little bit more. So at the beginning of 2020, I called it my body, mind, spirit journey. And so what does that mean? Well, every time I tried to move my body, I would get sick. Every time I tried to explore any type of spirituality, religion, anything, I would just get confused. What resonates with me? I'd had terrible experiences in the past. And I met my yoga instructor whom I got certified under. So I'm a RYT 200 registered yoga teacher. I want to get my 500 at some point, but don't worry, it's not a priority at the moment. But that helped me really open up exploring that next level of energy and spirituality. And I started to move into this more woo-woo exploration that was very scary to me before. And I very much kept a stiff arm towards a lot of that. That now that I understand it, I definitely am one of those people. We fear what we don't know. We fear the unknown. And if it's different, it creates this discomfort. But once you unfold and explore and start to understand it. I love seeking understanding and seeking other people who seek to understand me, because then we can really appreciate. We might not agree with it, but we can appreciate and respect what it is. And then it opens things up. Too. Exactly.
Right? Because if it works for some, it may work for you.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I learned. I felt like I was alone in my journey. No one else has been through what I've been through. And I have learned, no, everyone is going through something, and we are led to each other for a reason.
I totally agree with that. Totally. Especially in the wellness field. I think health and wellness, I think people that are in this field and are giving back to this field have all had some personal issues where we rebuild ourselves, and then we have an urge or an innate need to give back.
Right. Exactly. We're all people of service.
Yes. I want to change direction and I want to move into leadership, because not only did you have a health and wellness journey, but you are such a powerhouse leader in this area. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows what you do. And you wear so many hats. How do you do it?
Well, it's funny you say that, and I apologize. You did ask me that, and I, of course, went on a rant.
Okay.
I started my leadership journey in the 8th grade in FFA. I've always served in leadership. I've just been naturally drawn to it, and I've learned, and I've come to own it. That's an innate quality of mine, is I'm a natural born leader. And I used to suppress that. I referenced this poem that I love, and I won't recount it exactly, but a lot of people think that their greatest fear is that they will be invisible or unseen or unheard. But really their greatest fear is that they will be truly seen in their full light.
Ooh, that's deep.
That resonates with me and has resonated with me, because when I talk, people listen. I don't know why. That's just always what happens. If I go to open up a session in a room of 30, 100 people, 400 people, when I talk, people listen. Whereas a lot of people, it takes a lot to quiet them down. So that's just something that's naturally God-given, I guess. But when we moved to Wimberley, as I mentioned, I had lots of leadership in San Antonio and other places. My ex-husband asked me not to join anything. He said, can you just
That's
Can
like
we just
that's like asking a fish not to be a fish.
right?
Like,
Yes. I was like,
okay.
okay, I'll take a minute.
Yeah.
And we got here, it was December 1st, 2018 was our first day at owning Creekhaven. So all of 2019, I'm just doing my job with the bank, getting where I need to be, keeping all of that going, and just getting my arms around the inn. And then 2020 hit.
And then you have the itch.
Well, then 2020 hit.
hit. Yeah.
But I did go to a few things. I did go to some chamber ribbon cuttings. I did go to things here and there, and I did not feel welcome
At the local chamber.
at the local chamber.
And so then you were like, it's time for me to put on my leadership hat and
It took a while to get there. I joined. So I paid the dues for membership for the chamber and for the Wimberley Merchants Association. And my first Wimberley Merchants Association meeting that I went to, Jean Ann Cope jumped up out of her chair and ran over and hugged me because we were replacing the previous owners had left a really tough wake of challenging relationships for me to repair.
okay.
All the neighbors, lots of community. So I was like, wow, this is an interesting reception. And then you have the whole HOTAC, the hotel occupancy tax subject matter, it's been interesting in Wimberley, whole other hour-long conversation. But I was serving as treasurer for WMA, and I was voted in to be president going into that next year. And the leadership at the chamber had been reaching out, asking if I would come and get involved with the board. And I said, I haven't done anything. I haven't stood on a committee. When I have gone to things, I didn't feel welcome. So I just haven't done anything. Why would you want me to sit on the board? And they had called, and I hadn't returned the calls. And so I'm literally in the kitchen at Creekhaven making food for a group. And they walk in. And if you've been to Creekhaven, you know you can't
Unannounced?
hide.
They
Followed up. They walked in.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And so I'm like, I can't go anywhere. Jerry and Karen, you know who you are. And so they came to me and they were like, we really want you. We're trying to bring some fresh blood into the chamber. We'd love to see you join. And I don't think that they really knew my background yet, but knew that I was in leadership in WMA.
Leadership's in 8th grade.
So they asked me to come onto the board. I got voted onto the board. And I asked them, I said, well, what's the commitment? Oh, it's just one board meeting a month and then whatever you can get to. And of course, once I get in there and I'm like, well, I can't not attend as much as I can possibly attend to support the organization. And I know at that time there was a lot of fragmentation in the community. So all of the organizations were just kind of separate, doing their own thing. And there was some negativity between some of them as well. And I really thought we need to build alliances. We need to rebuild bridges. We need to build relationships again. And I just started listening. I had been listening and observing. And that's what I do. I listen and observe and then I speak. And usually at that point,
That's a good method.
I have something to say. Theodore Roosevelt said, speak softly, but carry a big stick, right?
Oh, there you go.
You come in with something meaningful. And I was like, why isn't the Merchants Association part of the chamber? The association pays dues. Most of the members are also paying dues to be members of the chamber. So there's duplication happening there. Why isn't this just an initiative within the chamber? I was very scared to be asking that question because I was like, I don't want to step on any toes.
And you were causing a wave with the big stick.
The response was, that's a great question. They said it's expensive. A lot of people don't realize it's expensive to run a nonprofit. You have to have insurance. You have to have a mailbox. You have to have all of these things in place that nonprofits, they don't have a foundational funding mechanism. They have to work hard, and usually it's volunteers that are also working. So how do you keep this engine going? And so we brought the merchants, both boards voted it into the chamber. And then I brought a reorganization structure to the chamber. The bylaws stated that we were a working board and that every board member had to chair a committee. And I said, we'll never have succession. We will never grow leadership to come onto the board if we're operating at that capacity. So we changed the bylaws and we started bringing in a structure with a chair and a co-chair. And not every committee functions that way, but the goal is that we have succession, we have support, and everybody's working together. And then in 22, actually, I can't remember what year it was, maybe it was 21, I was asked to sit on the Economic Development Committee for the city of Wimberley because I had a background in that as well. I sat on the City of Kyle Economic Development Committee for 5 years. So I was brought onto that, and then they rolled out the hotel occupancy tax and therefore a hotel occupancy tax advisory committee, and then they asked me to chair that.
It sounds like this is a snowball.
It's a snowball.
It was a snowball, and it started with you being cornered at Creekhaven. They came in, they got a hold of you. They didn't know who they were asking. It snowballed, and then here you are. Mm-hmm. You're chair of the board, right?
Yes.
You got the title, chair of the board.
Yep. Second year in a row.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Thank you.
I mean, that's amazing.
Last year, our executive director took a position in another community that she couldn't pass up, and I supported her in that. She was amazing, and it was a huge opportunity for her. But I had to step in last summer and fill the gaps. And it's funny because a lot of people think that I'm the chairman and the president and the director. So when we were interviewing for the director position and that we were announcing that we had found Lindsay and we're putting her in place, I had so many people ask me, well, why are you leaving? Why aren't you taking that position? And I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still the chairman, and I serve in a volunteer capacity.
Like I said in the very beginning, she wears a ton of hats,
yes.
Which we're going to talk about. I do too. I want to talk about one more hat that you just added to your head, and that is the Ozona Bank, right? The lending. Talk to me about that.
So now my official title is Vice President, Commercial Lending, SBA Team Lead, and in the background is Wellness Champion for the Employee Wellness Initiative.
I love how wellness is following you.
I do too.
It's tailored to you.
It is. In my second meeting with the bank president, I was exploring this opportunity. He told me about how, and I can't remember how we got to it. We started the meeting just getting to know each other, and he said something about being in the gym, working out about 8 to 10 hours a week. And I said, hold on. You're leading the whole bank. He's a former, I think, football player. In his 50s, you can tell he's working hard and hustling all hours of the day to move this initiative forward. He's very proud of the bank, of the position, of the family that he's coming into. And I said, and you have time for yourself to just go and work out? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, well, maybe I'll start taking this conversation a little more seriously, because in my experience as an SBA lender, it's a hustle. You've got to crank out hundreds of millions of dollars to get to the goal of $10 to $20 million in production. And when do you have time to take care of yourself if you're doing that? So the opportunities really came together. I've been an SBA lender for almost 20 years. And so even in this last few years where I wasn't actively lending, I still had clients call me and ask for advice. Serving in the business community, I can't sit on my hands. I'm asking, how can I help? I know somebody, I have a great network. Who do you need? And so I've always been a matchmaker, connector, and those kinds of things. There's so many people out there that get bad advice, especially in the financial space. There's a lot of people that create distrust because they give that bad advice, whether on purpose or just out of incompetence, not to put anybody down.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
It happens. Here comes this opportunity where the branch is a third of a mile from the inn. It's a mile and a half from my house. I have never had to go into a bank, an office in a bank branch until now. But I have full autonomy over my schedule. And Tommy mentioned the bank president. He said, you're like the unicorn that we were looking for, to have this wellness initiative background, the certifications, and the SBA. They're both strategic initiatives for the bank that they've been looking to launch. And here I am right in the community. And half the job is being a part of the community and leading in the community.
It's perfection.
It's perfect. It couldn't have been a better crossroads.
And I feel like it's a full circle moment for you. You started in banking. You were frazzled. You didn't know how to do this. And you went on the wellness journey. Then you got Creekhaven. And then what do we know? You're back in the beginning, but you were back in a better version of yourself.
Yes.
You're more knowledgeable, obviously, and you're able to give back in a way that you were not at the beginning of the full circle moment.
Yes.
How beautiful is that?
I know. I love it. Every time I think, like, look at my arms.
Oh, she literally has goosebumps in her arms. It's a full circle. I mean, it's a full Daytona circle, right? But it's a full circle moment for you, and it's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Much. I feel like you are the face of She Will Empower. You are why I interview women and why I do what I do, because there are so many powerful women in our community like you. And I want to thank you so much, Helena, for coming on here today and sharing your story. Tell me, how can people find you?
Creekhaveninn.com. At the bank, I'm Helena H at ozona.bank, and I'm Helena at creekhaveninn.com. So whatever your needs are, I love supporting and helping people in whatever way, whether it's me directly or referring to another amazing person in the community.
And there you have it. That is Helena Hauk. My name is Jessica Cherry, and this is She Will Empower. It is your space for truth, tools, and real transformation. And you can catch brand new episodes every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio. And of course, you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Just search She Will Empower, and I will be there, right there, waiting for you. And if you're an early riser, come catch me every Tuesday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on the Wake Up Club on Wimberley Valley Radio. It's cozy, it's fun. Maybe Helena will be on there. It's great, full of music and real conversations. And honestly, it's one of the best ways to start your morning feeling grounded, connected, and a little more alive. Thank you so much, Helena. It was a pleasure to interview you. And we will see you next time. Bye.